Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your hosts, Nick and Will. Have you ever wondered what are some of the questions if you're undecided about the vacation you want to take and what questions you should ask your travel agent? Well, if you have, you're going to love today's episode because that's what we're going to chat through today, folks. But before we jump into it, please remember to subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform. And a shout out to Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations for sponsoring today's episode. Thank you, Nick Menard.
You're very welcome, hello winners.
Hey. So obviously, sometimes people have a very clear idea where they want to go, but maybe there's some questions about, okay, what do I do when I get there? Or what are some things I think about? Sometimes they don't have any idea where they want to go. And they're like, hey, what's kind of like a hot spot?
Which is amazing.
Yeah, and do that. So, what would you say as a high level kind of intro into today's topic that you would offer?
Yeah. So the reason why we wanted to talk about this today is because if you follow us for a while, we will literally have every other week, we have a guest speaker for our Wanderlust Wednesday. So you hear about all kind of different style of vacation, mostly cruises where we talk about safari. We will talk more about resort very soon, but you hear about luxurious things, about river cruising soon. You hear about the very basic Caribbean kind of vacation or the yachts one and different destination. But a lot of times you're not sure what you think to know what you want to do, but you're not sure. So instead of trying to go on Google and try to figure it out yourself, there are easy ways to do so. Just contact your travel agent and just ask question. And you will get a lot of question asked by the travel agent. And by talking through all the ideas, you may actually find something that you didn't even think about was possible with a budget or things like that in order to be able to do something different. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why we wanted to do this episode today, just to give you more incentive for contacting your travel agent when you want to go on vacation. And also, as I always said, don't do last minute. Mm-hmm. Back 20 years ago, that was great. Not anymore. There are exceptions, but those are exceptions. If you can plan in advance, you will have better pricing and you have a lot more opportunity and availabilities for you.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think one thing that widened my aperture, so to speak, now that I'm involved in the travel business, is some of the vendors that have all these different excursions. So in the past, like trying to figure out what I wanted to do, searching all over TripAdvisor, whatever. And here, like as a travel agent, I have a great source. It gives a lot of different options, great descriptions, great pictures. And to your point about uncovering things that people may not even think about, and you can offer that as an agent and, you get that wow effect with them, and it really makes a dream vacation for them, a very memorable one. But so what are some questions that you would recommend people who are thinking about travel that they should be asked?
Absolutely. So first of all, what type of experience are you looking for? All right. So that can be so many things. And I don't want to make it like it is a destination. All right. Because you don't know at this point. All right. But you need to know, what are you attracted into? What do you want to experience? Do you want to experience new architecture? You want to see architecture that you never saw before? Do you want to have like a more active kind of vacation when you want to go hiking, you want to go skiing, you want to go, like get your heartbeat faster, exercising and things like power plunge. That's another kind of, your heartbeat will definitely go faster and then very slow. But, or you want something like completely chill where you will have like beach time, or you will have whatever, like cruising and not do much on the cruise. So it's going to help us understand, okay, what kind of cruise line are you looking for? What kind of resort are you looking for? Are you looking for a more group activities? Are you okay traveling with others in order to experience more targeted destinations or more targeted monuments that you want to visit or things like that? Or you want to do like a private tour? So all those questions will come up. And funny enough, I had actually a call a couple of days ago with a client saying like, I want to do Italy. We are five, six of us. We want to go to Italy. We've never been to Europe. I'm like, okay, why Italy?
Mhm.
Oh, well, that's the destination everybody tell us to go. I said, why? Well, Rome. I mean, Venice. I'm like, okay, so you want to do Rome and Venice? Well, I don't know what else is possible. I know there's like Amalfi. I know there's great wine. Okay, so you're interested to have wine tasting. You know what I'm
Yeah.
doing? So basically, I try to exemplify what they actually want to see. So what attracts you about Venice? Oh, I want to see it once in my life. Okay. Just because you want to see the canal and you want to see that? Yes, okay. Rome. Oh, I want to see the Colosseum. All right. So you want to see monuments that are historic. You want to see historic monuments. Well, not really. I just want to see those. Then after continue to talk like for 15, 20 minutes with her, ask a lot of questions and then asking the budget because the budget is always part of that conversation. All
Mhm.
right. So what is your budget? How long are you willing to leave? How long you want to go inside? What kind of documentation do you need? Do you have a passport? Like a visa. What kind of visa do you need? So you need to make sure that they understand the kind of process that it's going to be to do what they think they want to do. And then it may switch based on their budget. I'm like, do you realize that going from Venice to Rome is going to be around 3.5 hours train? So it means that you need to prep that in advance. You need to prep when you arrive, to get transferred. So you literally lose easily half a day of your vacation. You want to go 6 days. So how long do you want to stay in Venice? Well, I'm not sure what's that there to do. Well, you can stay a day, you can stay a week. It depends really what you want to do. And so by going deeper, I realized that other countries would fit a lot more their budget and their style. They love wine and they love a priority. They love historic like castle and stuff. So I'm like, I'm not sure Italy is the right destination. Okay, well we are open. What because we thought about Spain and Greece. I'm like, Greece maybe, but Spain, I'm not sure if going into, like looking at castle and stuff like that. Yeah, and you want to go during the summertime. Why? Also because that's the only time we can go. Okay, so it has to be summertime. And then by asking all those questions, I went like, did you think about Ireland and Scotland? Oh yeah, because one of the things that we want people who speak English.
Mm.
I'm like, yeah, well, you have people who speak English everywhere, but not everywhere in those countries, like, so I'm like, do you think about Ireland and Scotland? Then we start talking, what is there to do? So I start explaining, like what you can see in Edinburgh, what you can see in Dublin and all around. Oh my God, yeah, that speaks to me, like, and then I send an email with all more information about what's possible. She replied within an hour, okay, I love this. This is what I want to do. And again, the reason why I share this is not to tell you to go to Ireland and Scotland. The reason why I share this is you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
But I may not know every place in the world, but I know probably a lot more places because I've been to or I've sold them.
Mhm.
And I still learn. Like every week I have like people coming up with some requests. I'm like, I don't even know like what to do there, but that's what the client wants. So I research, I made my research, and then I figured out how to handle that, what activities to do, and things of that nature. So very important to be open-minded about getting a lot of questions, to understand based on your budget and what you really want to do, where you should be looking at and going, and then share some idea. And you will be surprised the amount of time people come back. Same with cruises. I want to do rail. Okay, why Royal? Nothing wrong on Royal, but why Royal? Why Royal? Was because that seems to be the best. Said the best. What do you mean by the best?
Mhm.
It's not because something you see all the time on TV that is the best. No, again, Royal has its benefits. There are a lot of great things about Royal, but I would not categorize Royal the best because of what I like.
Mhm.
So it depends really of what you are looking for. And by asking all those questions, you can really like slim down the possibilities and, you know, the opportunity for them to actually go in something that will fit them a lot better. They may not know about, or they may think a certain way because they talk to their neighbor about, you know?
Mhm.
So that's where the questioning are very important.
Oh yeah, no, and I mean here now they may have spent a lot of money getting a okay experience, but because you went that deep with the questioning, now it's far more likely they're going to spend similar amount of money but have an amazing experience, and that's what it's all about. It's about having those memories, those
Yeah.
experiences.
And we know usually not all of it, but we know usually events who are happening in those situations. I'm taking an example about Italy this year.
Mhm.
So Italy 2025 is a jubilee. I would not suggest people to go in Italy this July, August. It's going to be packed any summertime because in Europe, it's even more the case like here. In Europe, people travel at least 2 weeks, usually 3 weeks, July, August.
Mhm.
That's their vacation of the year. The big vacation of the year is July, August. So you have the European traveling to all the same places that American wants to travel to
Yeah,
because they want to go to the same kind of places.
yeah.
But there's a jubilee this year. So it means that it's going to be 3-4 times the amount of people that normally go. So I had a lot of people this year calling me about going to Italy. I'm like, I would wait September or plan for next year and do another country this year. Another place this year in Europe. Because if you don't talk to us, you will not know that.
Mhm.
So those things help understand also what's possible. Then also, do you want to go by yourself? Do you have a significant other you want to go with? You have a family that you want to go with? You want to go with a group, friends, things like that. Then by talking, are you thinking about other people you would like to bring along?
Mm.
And you would be surprised the amount of time that people said, "Oh, actually, yeah, I think that I can bring that up to some of my other friends that I have that based on the conversation they would like."
Mm.
So it's good for you as an agent, but it's good for them also. I have another kind of experience with more people. More doesn't mean better. But a lot of time people enjoy traveling with their best friends or family members. Sometimes they refuse to travel with family member, and it's okay. It's everything is okay. But if you don't ask, you don't get. And a lot of time it's happening. I mean, I got situation where sometimes they talk, and it's just me and my wife, and when they talk, oh my god, my brother and his wife. That's something that he will love to do. So let me check. And then that's how you start building something that's supposedly for 2 people who end up with 6, 8, 10. But then the pricing gets better because you do a group pricing. So there are a lot of things to take into consideration. People usually rarely call, sometimes, but rarely call unless they have experience with it. We want to do a group, like a guided tour,
Mhm.
but it's just the two of us. Usually they don't want that because they think guided tour is like literally with the same people 24/7, like you have to talk. No, guided tour in Europe and in Asia are very different. First of all, the groups can be very different. Like can be a group of 10, 40, group of 100, but it depends a little bit based on the question you ask, what kind of group may fit.
Mhm.
And then sometimes they want to do personalized, but they realize budget-wise is not smart. I can tell you, like, if you want to do that a private tour, it's going to cost you $20,000 for 10 days.
Mhm.
If you want to do the same tour with a group, like it's going to be a group of like 20 people, but you have like 3-4 hours a day of completely freedom in different location, but your transportation is included, your accommodations are included. Most of the time, the food, the restaurants are included. If you go to, for example, Ireland, we talk about Ireland, Scotland, you have those amazing guided tour that you can do where it's no way to do a better job than that vendor that I use there. And you have like private events who are included and things like that. They realize, oh my God, instead of 20K, I will pay 12K for 2. It's 8,000 cheaper. It's like 40% cheaper with an experience that will be better than if you actually have a private tour. That private guide will bring you everywhere, but you by yourself, that you don't have the atmosphere of other people.
Mhm.
So it doesn't mean that you need to hold hands with those people again. Some tours, you see them, in the bus or in the coach, like the luxury coach usually. But that's about it. The rest of the time, you're like, once you're inside, you just visit the thing the way you want, and you get back, and then you just, So you don't know what you don't know. It's really like the main goal of this episode is to make sure that you understand. You may be surprised by the amount of opportunity that you don't think about that you were able to do.
Yeah. No, and I'm thinking, gosh, go to Ireland and Scotland, save 8K. That's more for green beer and golfing.
Yeah, it makes me think. I received an offer today to go because I sold quite often, like Ireland and Scotland last year, and I received an offer to go as a travel agent, not free because people think that travel agents travel free. That's not the case. But yeah, I have an opportunity to go with one of my preferred vendor and go. But again, when we receive something like that, we have to pay for it. That's preferred tarification, of course, but it's it's a learning experience. So it's not like we go and we have like classes, we have like things like that. So, and it's usually, okay, it's that date. Unfortunately, it's like in 2 months and I cannot go those dates. But otherwise, I would have totally do it. It's 8 days. What an experience it would be. I've been there, but I never been with that tour. And I would like to do it because every single group guide that I'm selling, people come back and they want to go back in another place with the same group, not the same group, but the same tour guide or the same vendor. So yeah, so you have opportunities, and the hard part for me is like what to choose every year. Again, next year we do the safari, and I'm super, super excited about this. More to come. But every year try to do like one things that I never did, or something big that I want to experience or re-experience, and that's exciting. But a lot of the time I'm not sure what to do.
Got to see you do the polar plunge.
I will. I will. I mean, I'm not going to do the polar plunge, but I'm going to go in Antarctica soon. I'm not going to do that. Like I remember where were we? We were in DC. Like, and that was literally what we were thinking about. I mean, we were walking. It was freezing with like high winds, and I'm like, do you realize that Antarctica is like probably 40 degrees lower than this?
Yeah.
And then you would be in your swim short, just jumping in ice cold water. No,
I'll be walking like a penguin.
Yeah.
So
you will have company over there.
Yeah. I know.
But I want to turn the table a little bit. Just you as a traveler,
okay.
Like not as a travel agent. But what are the things that you usually think about when you travel? What are the most important things that you think about when you travel? What are really the 2-3 topics or 2-3 things that you want to nail when you travel? So based on that, I can maybe do like an exercise of like what to ask.
Well, I do like history, so I do like seeing historical places. Food, obviously important, and I want to be local. Like I don't want to do like the tourist trap areas. Like sort of going authentic. And then, yeah, I know. And then if there's some sort of event. So like you mentioned Jubilee and Italy, but I totally agree. You probably want to avoid that. But is there something that's going on that would be great for me to see that is a unique type of experience? So we talked in a previous episode, like Tomorrowland in Belgium. That's only going to happen 2 weekends a year. If it's something else like Carnival, that
Rio
happens, certain times of the year. So, just having some sort of experience that's unique and not a common one.
Awesome. So where did you already go? You mentioned Tomorrowland, but anything else like for historical monument? You mentioned like architecture. Anywhere you've been that you really loved about architecture?
Barcelona.
Why?
They had various architecture. They had Gothic, with the churches, but also Gaudi and the architecture that they did, even with the homes, was fascinating. And it had a nice blend. I would say another place actually was Prague. And I mentioned about that in a previous episode because you had 3 very distinct styles. You had the medieval Gothic style. You had the communist style, which was easy to pick out because everything was gray and bland. And then you had the modern. So I really liked Prague.
So you mentioned Barcelona and Prague. So Barcelona, my favorite city in Europe. So in Barcelona, you love food. I know Barcelona will have you covered there. That's for sure. Prague also, but Prague is a bit different. They're more typical food. So or you like it or you don't. So so that's important. But okay, any other places?
Oh, London. I really enjoy visiting London. A lot of historical things to see there. The castles, Big Ben. The food more of the international
Mm-hmm.
food that's there because it's such an international
Indian over
city.
there is delicious.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Dishoom,
Uh-huh.
wherever in
Indian
downtown
food in London.
London. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And shout out to Anita for that recommendation. And then, yeah, there's all those things going on, events, soccer, things like that.
Okay, so you mentioned three places. What's
Mm.
in common with the three places?
All in Europe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is there a specific reason why you are attracted particularly to Europe when it comes to architecture?
I think being raised in the Western civilization, I like seeing more of that medieval architecture because you don't have that obviously here in the States. We're a young country. I would say one place I haven't been to that I'd really be interested in the architecture is Japan. You know, just how they do
Well, we didn't role play this before
it. Yeah.
because you didn't even know I was gonna bring in there. But yeah, so I was gonna tell you, what about Asia?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
is Asia a place that you would like to do? So you mentioned Japan. So what did you see online or on TV or whatever that makes you want to go to Japan? Anything specific, the period of the blossom, or the certain architecture in Japan that you want to hit, like Kyoto or Tokyo or whatever?
Yeah, Kyoto, and that has historical significance to it used to be the
Uh-huh.
capital of Japan before it became Tokyo. Okinawa,
Uh-huh.
Karate Kid. Yeah, obviously saw pictures from the movie, but the architecture in Japan, the Mount Fuji, I think would be cool. They're big on gardens, so I'd like to see that. The food, of course, I couldn't wait to have the sushi. That'd be amazing. And obviously, there was a lot of historical significance with Japan.
Here we go. So here I would go, if you were like a prospect, for example, tell me that, I'm like, there will be a difference in pricing depending a little bit what you want. The list is long of question once you go to Japan because they have very different style of accommodations and food. So that they need to know about your food allergies way in advance because over there that's a big deal. Accommodations, you will have 4-star hotel where you literally sleep on the ground. It's literally, and it's considered luxurious for some area in Japan. So those things I ask to the client: are you comfortable doing that, or you want more, like traditional
I
bedding?
don't want to be sleeping in the ground.
Exactly. So that's literally, I have around 12, 14 questions that I ask anybody who go to Japan because that's important for me to pick. If you want the full experience like a Japanese, then it's gonna be those. But I can easily get you to something same level but more traditional, like a hotel. So I would definitely do that. Then I would ask you question about what I know are possible to do in Japan. Are you okay walking long distance?
Yes.
Because Japan is that,
Yeah.
so that would be a question. Would you like to see a comparison of what you experience in Florida, for example, Disney World, with what they have in Disneyland there? The reason why I asked that, Japan is very different when it comes to Disney. The Disneyland over there, it may have similarities, but they have like a Disney Sea, which is Disney in the water. So they have like a whole park with designated for that in Tokyo. So it's literally like close by each other, but it's two different stuff. So when I mention that, of course, people who go with children, they want to usually experience it. Something I hear a lot right now is, so yeah, people ask now, is very popular anime. So Nick, my children or my kid is very very in love with anime. And that's something literally when I talk about Japan, 8 out of 10 times they will ask me about something anime. So no, I know vendors who have places to go where they can experience anime. So for in your case, you may not care, but it's something that it's there. So I want to understand, the walking, the season. It's very important to understand when you talk to client, when you talk to a travel agent, is there a particular season you want to go? Japan will be extremely different. If you go in the spring, if you go in the winter, summer, or, like fall, it's going to be completely different. Some place I would not recommend you to go during certain time of the year. Some other place, yes, may be colder, but it's going to be more beautiful. It may be beautiful weather, but you will not experience a lot of things that makes Japan so special. So the question will come up. I want to understand, do you have flexibility to leave anytime? Because it's not always the case. But for some people, they think, I don't really, I can go anytime. Japan, for example, a year in advance. You can do 6 months, but it's going to be limited availabilities and more expensive. A year in advance, you have usually like a broad spectrum of what you can do. All right. But again, the exercise here was just to show you that by asking question, I realized that you're very, predominantly Europe, but you are not able, by digging a little bit, you realize that you have an affinity to maybe visit Japan at some point. So why not doing this the next time based on the budget and other things? But I give you some idea about what's possible to do in Japan and things like that will give you the motivation to learn more. And
can you send me a quote?
Oh, now that you ask, thank you for asking. I will definitely send you some quotes. So those, again, very important. The next step will be, I'll send you an email with like the 12, 14 questions that are definitely for Japan. The rest is usually not so extensive, but Japan it is. And then I will figure it out with some vendors, what will be the best itinerary for you and the best time of the year based on what you are looking for. And then we're going from there. So it's very important to ask questions.
I want to see Godzilla.
If you can dream it, we can book it. That's what we do.
That's right. I love it. There you go. There you go. Any last words you have for our winners?
No, don't be afraid to. I know there is tons online on Google, but it's exactly the same thing as going to the doctor. You don't stop going to the doctor because you have you said, hey, I have these symptoms. What do I have?
Yeah, read it on WebMD and self-medicine.
Exactly. I mean, it helps you, guide you maybe, but I would not trust 100% it's the same thing for travel. So it doesn't cost you nothing to contact a travel agent to actually have those questions. It doesn't put you into any kind of contract to do this, but it's very important and may open your eyes of destination that you may not have been thinking at the time of the call.
Yeah. I love it. No, great sage wisdom. And, again, our winners, take advantage of this. There's so much out there to experience, and getting the guidance from the travel agent can really help ensure that you have the best experience possible. So thank you, sir. And thank you to Dream Vacations and Nick Menard and Associates for sponsoring today's episode. And be sure to subscribe, share, and follow 2 for the Win on your favorite platform. Hopefully you got some food for thought from today's episode. And for your next experience or vacation that you're planning, contact a travel agent and maybe find out a little bit more. Like Nick said, you don't know what you don't know. So that'll do it for today's Wanderlust Wednesday. Hope you have a lovely rest of the week, and we'll see you next Wednesday, winners. Take care.
Bye, winners.